This is Harry Woods 12.2, and I will talk to you about the influences on sport. TV, positive. Kids love watching TV, so sporting companies have taken this idea on, and kids will ask their parents to subscribe to sports channels such as Sky Sports, BT Sport, ESPN, making them more money. A negative of this would be kids growing up thinking football is a TV programme, when in fact you go to stadiums to watch football, go for the experience, go for the pride of watching your team play, and I believe this is a negative effect on kids watching football on TV. Advertising. A positive of this would be, for lower league clubs especially, sponsorship is a big way of getting some money into the club, to pay for players, to pay bills to the club, and the more people, and at lower league it's harder for the sponsors to get recognised, because you wouldn't have a massive company, a global brand such as Fly Emirates at a really lower league football club, because the people watching lower leagues will come from that certain area and they'll want either a local barbers or local butchers, and they can see that and then they can go into town and buy that. But in the major leagues around the world, like the Premier League and the Liga, you have sponsors such as Qatar Airways, Samsung, massive global brands that are everywhere around the world, and this is a positive effect of advertising for that company. A negative of this would be a negative effect of this is that it will cost the club and companies a lot of money, and this is going to equally probably lose them a lot of money, because if they don't get the interest that they're hoping for, then they will be losing money because they've spent it on advertising, and then they're not going to get that regeneration back in, and that is a negative effect. I will now talk to you about sponsorship. A positive effect of sponsorship is that clothing companies, for example, use the best players in the world to wear their clothing, such as Ronaldo is sponsored by Nike. Nike will pay him millions of pounds every year to endorse their product. That means wear Nike shoes, wear Nike t-shirts, wear his boots everywhere, and this in turn will have little kids looking up to him as a role model, and they will want to wear the latest boots, shoes, t-shirts, trousers, shorts that he's got on, because then that will make the company more money. So those millions they've spent investing in Ronaldo, they will then make that back from kids and parents all around the world interested in that product. A negative effect of sponsorship could be parents having to pay lots of money for the top end product that their kids want. However, this is a very positive effect for the company. Secondly, another negative effect would be an athlete doing something bad. So this could be being caught smoking in a Nike t-shirt, and they are sponsored by Nike. So that then looks negatively on Nike, and it makes them look bad. I'll now talk to you about the positive and negative effects that local and national press have on sport. Firstly, the positive effect of national and local press is that no press is bad press, is what people say, and that means that if you're in the media, you're getting noticed, people are talking about you, you can have a high profile, and this is good for the club if it's in the right context. So, for example, a player could be seen doing charity work, and then he'll be in the newspaper for that, and he might play for Arsenal, for example, and that will look really, really good on Arsenal and the player himself. However, if the player's been caught doing something bad, for example, he could have been caught smoking, then this will give the club a bad perception, and the player will be perceived as a bad player, or a bad person, not a bad player, because what he does off the field is different to on the pitch, but it will still be perceived as a bad person for doing that. But this is a positive effect, not so much the negative, but the positive is there. A negative effect of a local and national press is that if they've written a story, it may cause controversy, and this will bring conflict within the team, an upset to many people, including fans, officials, etc. I will now talk to you about rule changes within sport. Firstly, the the game has been developed over many years to find the best formula. For example, the game started off as mob football, but now we're in the modern day and it's been brought forward. Nowadays, a positive effect on rule change would be we now use vanishing spray in football to mark out 9.15 metres for a wall or 10 yards. But in the laws of the game it states 9.15 metres. And then you mark it out with vanishing spray. It's a bit like shaving foam. And then it vanishes after about a couple of minutes. But this assures the referee will know if the wall have moved at a free kick or if the ball's been moved from where the free kick is being taken from, and then if it has, it's a foul and it goes the other way. A negative effect of a rule change could be that, for example, we now use goal line technology. Yes, this does help the referees out, but does it make it look like they're not doing their job properly? I think it does. However, I also agree that goal line technology is a massive help. Another negative effect of rule change in sport is that for goal line technology especially, that can only be used at the moment in the Premier League because they're the clubs with the most amount of money that can afford to pay for it. For example, in grassroots football, so your local team, they can't even afford a proper stadium, so how are they going to afford goal line technology? And that is another negative effect. Leading on from those negative and positive effects of rule changes, I will now talk to you about the positive and negative effects that timeouts will have. Timeouts are we use them in futsal, and the manager can call for a timeout when the ball goes out of play, and he can have a minute to talk to his team. So that could be to change the formation, make a couple of subs, and I believe it does make the game of futsal a lot better because you do need it because it's a very fast-paced game. However, can this be implemented in football? I don't know. Maybe. It probably won't be due to the fact that football is a 45-minute half game. You play 2 45 minutes plus stoppages, and managers, when they make subs, they will tell their players what they want to tell them when they come on. So sometimes they'll come on a little post-it note, say, you number 7 play up higher, or number 10 you drop. So it could be implemented in football, but I think it's more suited to futsal. I'll now talk to you about the positive and negative effects that narrative techniques have on sport. For example, the media have many narrative techniques. I'll list a few of them for you. Tweeting, podcasts, Facebook, and more importantly, newspapers. Everyone reads a newspaper, everyone's on Twitter, everyone's on Facebook. They see whatever Sky Sports are doing, or BBC Sport. Everyone can read it, everyone can like it, comment on it, share it, everyone's talking about it. And that is a positive effect on sport because it will grow the interest further. However, a negative effect of this could be that it will influence sport. For example, if a football player is tweeting negative words and comments to another, this could be perceived as the right thing to do, when in fact that is cyberbullying. So the public or little kids growing up will read that and think, oh, well, my favourite football player did that, so I can do that, that's fine, but it's not, and that is a negative effect. I'll now talk to you about the positive and negative effects that internet has on sport. A positive effect would be a chat room. This could be a chat room is a fan forum. So, for example, here at Brighton we have a fan forum called North Stand Chat. And this is where loads of Brighton fans, even if you're not a Brighton fan, you're just a neutral football fan, you can make an account and give your opinion. Loads of Brighton fans chat on there. They can talk about any topic they want and have a mass debate on there. That would be a positive effect of the internet. However, a negative effect could be a fan site. So it's very different to a forum because a fan site is specifically for the fans, like a chat room, but you can't necessarily have a mass debate on there. So with a fan site, it would be giving you information about the next kit that's coming out, the next scarves you can buy, hats, gloves, cufflinks, etc. All merchandise And that'll be a positive effect on the club, because then it's giving them another way to get themselves noticed to the fans, and if they want to buy their kit. A negative effect of fan sites would be, negative effect could be fans having, they could see something on there that they don't like, and then they may protest about that. So if the club's gone into administration and they've posted it there, they might not be too happy with that. And a negative effect of chat rooms could be fans arguing with each other on there and saying very hurtful things, and it could be racial, and this could offend other people that are on there, and this could give the club a bad name. I will now talk to you about clothing in sport and how it has changed, and the positive and negative effects. Firstly, clothing in sport has been developed and has come a long way since the days of heavy cotton football kits. Furthermore, in rugby, you can now get gloves that help the ball stick to your hands. In the olden days, 30, 40 years ago, nothing like this. You just had to use your hands and get really muddy. But nowadays, you can actually get special gloves that have a special imprint in them, which in turn makes the ball stick, so they don't drop it or knock the ball on, which is a foul to the other team. Secondly, a negative effect of this could be that they are really expensive to buy, so the pros can afford them because there are millions each week. However, the younger generation, such as myself, we may not be able to afford these professional products. So yeah, that would be a negative effect. I will now talk to you about personal equipment in sport and the positive and negative effects. Firstly, in sport nowadays, we have top-of-the-range sports equipment at our disposal, such as heart rate monitors and many applications for our smartphones that we can download to track our performance. Referees especially, you can now buy watches that track your heart rate. They do the time. They can tell you if the ball's gone over the line or not. This only occurs in Premier League because they have goal line technology. But in the lower leagues and able to buy for the general public, they have heart rate monitors on them nowadays, which is a big bit of kit, and they do cost in excess of £500. And for one watch, that is a bit extortionate. However, the pros can afford that. A negative effect, like I said, is the money side of it, because a referee of myself, I can't afford to spend £500 on a watch and use it on a Sunday league football pitch. But when I'm older, I aim to obviously have some better kit, and this will help me in my refereeing, and that is a negative effect. I will now talk to you about the positive and negative effects that cameras have on sport. 10 years ago, cameras in sport were being used, but they were not up to the standards that we have nowadays. This is a massive advantage for football clubs because they are now able to film their teams training, playing, and they can take clips off that and use it as analysis, which is good for the club, and it will help them to improve. That is a positive effect. A negative effect could be that social media, obviously football is now streamed all around the world with cameras, and it goes separately through TV companies. However, I want to focus on the fact that I could post a picture of, say, a football player, for example, Jack Wilshere, like he put his middle finger up, which is swearing at Tottenham fans, like Man City fans, sorry, in an away game, and then obviously that's streamed all around the internet, and that's come from a camera that's been filmed. And back in the old days, that wouldn't have happened because the only people that would have seen that would have been the people at the game, and that is a negative effect of cameras. I would also talk to you about replays in sport. The positive effect of a replay would be it would help the referees out, so they could see if it was a foul or if he did punch him or if he didn't, and then obviously a caution or a red card would be given, and in different sports, and obviously it'd be different misconduct, different ways of dealing with it. But I know for a fact in sport it'd either be a red or a misconduct or nothing because he might not have punched him. Obviously replays can help us with that, and the negative effect of this would be it being used in the wrong way. So the kit may not work, it may fail because it might be a prototype or brand new, and obviously it hasn't been around that long, so we have no testing, so it will need to be tested, and obviously the only real way to do that is in a proper game, but that is a big risk and that is a negative effect. I'll now talk to you about the positive and negative effects that analysis has on sport. Firstly, drug testing equipment. Nowadays we have cameras that we can fit on a telescope